Hi everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. All the products that I use you can purchase from me through Stampin' Up at the address at the top of the screen, and also it's linked below. Before we get into what I'm making today and what it holds, I want to do my giveaway for 3,000 subscribers. And all you have to do to win is subscribe to my channel and in the comments tell me that you are subscribed. And if you've done it, you can do it once per video up until when I give it away. Just make sure that you tell me you're subscribed, unless you're someone that always comments, and I pretty much know you are. But the first prize, let's see, will be this Mischievous Mouse stamp set, which was a gift that you could get, a hostess set that you could get if you had a party or you sold over a certain amount of money or bought a certain amount of money on your order. And I think it's adorable. It has 3 mouse figures, images, and 5 sentiments. I think it's really cute, and it is a cling. Alrighty, and along with that, I have a full package of the Sunshine and Rainbows 6x6 Designer Series paper, some Stampin' Up pencils, and 2 pair of Stampin' Up socks. Alrighty, so that would be the first prize, or actually the actual first prize. It's not really first prize. The first one I'll pick, and then the second one is this card kit that is No Matter the Weather card kit. You can look it up. It is still available. So that's one of the prizes, along with a Stampin' Up wallet. Alrighty, and the back also has a change area. Okay, so that's the second thing I'm giving away. And then the third thing is another pack of the Sunshine and Rainbows DSP, along with this case that has the blue light readers, and they are Stampin' Up. They have Stampin' Up on them. Alrighty, so those are the 3 packages that I am giving away, and all you have to do is subscribe and tell me you're subscribed in the comments. Alrighty, so those will be the three things that I'm giving away. Alright, now back to the project, which is why you clicked probably. It is a box for some little Peeps. Alright, the Peeps I got, it was $1, I think, at Target for these Peeps, and they come 8 in a pack, so you can make 4 little packages, or 3 fun size M&Ms will fit in, which will give you an idea. Lots of little different things can fit in. And the actual box measures 4 by 3 by 1.5. Nope, 1 1/4, sorry. All right. And all of the measurements will be on my blog, which is linked below. Okay, so what do we need for this? We need a piece of So Saffron that is 9 1/4 by 5.5, some basic white for stamping. We need 2 pieces of Highland Heather cardstock that are 2 7/8 by 3 3/8. 2 pieces of Flowering Fields Designer Series paper that are 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. We need a scrap of So Saffron, and we need a scallop circle from the Layering Circle dies, and this measures 2 inches. So we'll be stamping the sentiment and cutting it out with the smaller smooth circle. Alrighty. On here I also used some mesh metallic ribbon, some Highland Heather Grosgrain ribbon, and some Iridescent Rhinestone basic jewels, and Stampin' Blends too. Okay, so we're going to start on the 9 1/4 inch side, and we're going to score at 4 and at 5 1/4. Okay, And we're going to turn it to the 5.5 inch side, and we're going to score at 1 1/4 and 4 1/4. Now we're going to turn it back to the 9 1/4 side, and we're going to score only to the first score line at 2 and at 7 1/4. Okay, then we're going to turn it 180 to the other side of the 9 1/4 side and do the same thing. Score to the first line, score line at 2 and at 7 1/4. Okay, and I'm just going to fold and burnish the lines that go all the way through, not the partials. Okay, so you have your two 1 1/4 inch strips on the top and bottom. Okay, and this is what we're going to do. Okay, all right, so we're going to start on the bottom left, and there is a rectangle. This rectangle here we're going to get rid of. So go to the first score line, cut it to the first score line, and then get rid of that. All right, then go to the other end of this rectangle and cut it straight to the first score line. Skip this square and cut the other side straight to this first score line, and then we're going to wedge both sides of the square. Okay, go to the other side of this rectangle, cut it straight, and then we're going to get rid of this rectangle here. Okay, so that's one side. Now we're going to turn it 180 and do the same exact thing. We're going to get rid of this first rectangle here. Okay, go to the other side of this rectangle and cut it straight. Skip the square, cut this side straight, and then wedge both sides of the square. Okay. Then we're going to go to the other side of this rectangle, cut it straight, and get rid of this rectangle. Okay. So that's what your cardstock should look like after cutting. Now, before we do anything else to it, we need the detail trio punch, and we're going to round both of these flaps on both sides. Okay. Okay, so that was the corner rounder. Now what we're going to do is make the little slit that's on this side here of the detail trio punch. And there is a line right here at the front. Okay, what you want to do is get that to be around the middle. Doesn't have to be perfect. And just push that all the way, make sure it's all the way up. And then you'll just get your slit there. Okay, and then you want to do that to the other side also. So I'm going to get that right kind of in the middle there. Okay, so that is what your cardstock should look like after you've done scoring, cutting, and rounding the edges and putting the slit. Now what we need to do is get some tear and tape. Now both of these sides are going to be equal, so you can do either side as the front. So if you made like a mistake on one side, maybe you want to gear it towards having that side be the back. All right, what I want you to do first, this is the outside of the box, and I want you to put tear and tape on the two tabs, one towards the score line and one. You could also use liquid glue. You just have to sit and wait for it to dry. That's all. All right, and then we're going to take the backings off. And this actual piece is going to be attached to the back. All right, so whichever side you attach it to will now be the back of your box. All right, so I'm going to take the score line and attach it to the side of this rectangle, okay, on either side. And then it just becomes your back, and either one can be your back. Okay, so that's half the box. Now the inside of the box, we're going to put 2 strips of tear and tape on the inside of these rectangles, one on the edge and one close to the score line. And then what we're going to do is measure the bottom and the back edge, and just make sure they line up right. Okay, and then just give it a nice squeeze so it adheres, and then let's do the other side. It might be a little bit short because the score lines make a little bump and it pulls it back a little bit. That's your basic box right there. All right, now, and this is my take your pick tool if you're new here. Okay, now we need our DSP and our cardstock. And the 2 pieces of Highland Heather are 2 7/8 by 3 3/8. And the pieces of DSP are 2 3/4 by 3 1/4. And we're just going to mat them, okay, with liquid glue. Okay, and then we're going to just adhere them to the back and the front of our box. You want to get the glue close to the top as you can. You don't want it really thick, but you want it so that when we pull it together, at the end, that it doesn't come off the top. Okay. And it doesn't go all the way to the top. There's about a 1/2 inch there that we don't reach. Okay, so while that dries, we're going to do our stamping. Okay, so now we're going to do our stamping. We have our basic white cardstock, and I'm just going to put a little bit of scrap paper underneath it. And we're going to stamp the bunny from Easter Friends with, not Tuxedo, with Crumb Cake Ink. You don't have to get the whole bunny because we're really just getting from the shoulders up. And make sure that you have it over far enough so that you can cut your circle out. Great. Okay. Alrighty. And then for the sentiment, we're going to be using the Happy Easter from the same set, but we're only going to be using, Easter. All right, you can mask the Happy, but this one is far enough apart where it's kind of easy to not get the ink on the Happy. All right, so I'm just going to ink up Easter with Tuxedo Black. And we want to leave about I'd say 1/2 inch between the Easter and the beginning of the cardstock. Nope. Okay, let's try that again. I got ink on the top. Yeah, well, that should be good. And then a 1/2 inch from the left. Great. Okay. Well, that's just sitting, and we'll bring in our bunny. And I'm going to use light Crumb Cake, light Flirty Flamingo, light Pool Party, and a color lifter. And what I'm going to do with the crumb cake, now we only need right above the arms. So all I'm going to do, right above where the hands touch, so I'm just going to color in above that line. So I'm going to add a little bit of crumb cake to this arm, and then fill in the other arm where they don't have. And then I'm going to fill in the 2 ears with crumb cake, just the areas that are white. And then I'm just going to get a little bit around the eye, because I don't want that to be all white there. Okay, let me just show you up close there. Okay, that's how I just kind of filled in some of the, well, let's give it a little more here so it matches the other side. There we go. All right. Okay. All right. Then I'm going to use some light Flirty Flamingo, just a little bit. I do like an oval for one cheek, oval for the other cheek, and just go down the V in the nose. And then I'm just kind of soften it with the color lifter, kind of go around the edges. And that will soften up as we do the rest of our project. All right, and then I'm going to take light Pool Party and I'm going to make a shadow around the bunny. Just kind of go over it, touching the side of the bunny. Not going over it, but going right up next to it. And that just kind of makes him pop a little bit off of the paper. Okay. And that's it for Stampin' Blends. Now we need a circle from the layering circle dies. And I'll tell you what size it is. I think it's 1 7/8, but I'll double check. I'm just going to put some low-tack tape on there. And I'm going to cut it out and I'll be right back. Okay. Just going to gently pull this up. Take the tape off. Alrighty. And this is approximately, 1 7/8. Okay. Now we have our Highland Heather scallop circle, and I'm just going to put it right on there with some liquid glue. Okay. Alright. Now we need to cut out our sentiment. And all I'm going to do is cut it as close to the edge as you can. So I'm going to take a tiny bit off of the bottom. And then I'm going to try to get close. Perfect. Okay. And then the Easter, I have to keep looking at how I did it. The Easter we want to leave about 1/4 inch after. And then after the R. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to go in the middle after the R. I'm just going to cut up probably 1/8 inch. Oops, which is about half the distance we left. Then I'm going to go from the corner to the top of it, and I'm not doing this with my Banner's Pick-a-Punch because it's so small. So I'm just going to quick do it by hand. Good. Okay, and then on the other side, I'm just going to clip from the middle to the side just so that it's not so bulky at the top. See that? Okay. Then I'm just going to take a small hole punch and put a hole up there. Okay. Now we also need to take a hole punch and cut it right up next to the side of the bunny so that we can string it. Okay. All right. Now let's put our Peeps on. Okay. So I just want to show you that 3 M&Ms will fit in there nicely. Okay, but I'm going to put my bunnies, my Peeps bunnies inside. All right, and then I'm going to take a piece of the mesh metallic ribbon and I'm going to feed it through the hole, the 2 holes to the back, from the front to the back. And this is just going to stick up. Okay. Make it even. All right. And then I'm going to just use whatever clip I have to just kind of secure the top of it. Just like that. Okay. And then I'm going to take some of our Highland Heather Grosgrain ribbon, and I'm going to tie a bow on the bottom. Okay, so once you have the knot pretty tight, take off your clip and make it a little bit tighter. Okay, and then just make your bow. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my fabric scissors. I'm just going to even these off and then cut this other side. Okay. All right, now I'm going to grab some twine, baker's twine, just the white baker's twine, and I'm going to cut about 14 inches and fold it in half. All right, and then I'm going to put the loop through the hole in our bunny tag, pull it through, and then on the ends I'm going to feed our Easter on there, our Easter sentiment, through both of them. I put them onto both, so it separates it a little bit by the loop there. Then I'm just going to loop it around the bow. And just tie a knot in the back. So you don't quite need 14 inches. You could probably do 10 or 12. Okay, and I'll make this a little smaller. And I'll just trim off some of this. Okay. Alrighty. So then the Easter kind of sticks up a little and it doesn't completely cover our bunny there. Alright. And then just for the final touch, I used some Iridescent Rhinestone Basic Jewels and my take your pick tool, and I put one of the smaller ones up on the sentiment, a medium-sized one up over here, and then a large one down right here. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, my email is below. My blog address is below. And if you'd like to join as a demonstrator, that link is below. Thank you so much for joining. And don't forget to leave a comment and tell me you're subscribed. And I'll add you to the giveaway. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.